Salt. It is in our kitchens and on our tables. But did you know that salt is essential for life itself? Our bodies need it. Salt helps us stay hydrated and keeps our muscles and nerves working right. We cannot make our own salt, so humans have always needed to find it. Why? Because salt preserves food. Before refrigerators, this was a game changer. Over time, salt became a key part of trade routes, empires, and even wars. So next time you sprinkle a little salt on your food, remember, you are holding a tiny crystal with a big history. Imagine a world without grocery stores. For ancient people, getting food was a daily challenge. This is where salt comes in. It was a lifesaver, literally. Salt allowed them to preserve meat and fish, preventing spoilage and making food last much longer. Ancient civilizations from Egypt to China quickly recognized salt's importance. In Egypt, salt was used not only for food but also for mummification. They used a special type of salt called natron to preserve the bodies of their pharaohs for the afterlife. In ancient China, salt production was a big deal. They even had special salt pans, shallow pools where they let seawater evaporate to collect the salt. Control over these salt works could make or break an emperor's power. Salt was not just about survival, it also influenced culture. In many cultures, salt became a symbol of purity and hospitality. Think about it. Even today, we still say salt of the earth to describe someone who is good and honest. Today, we use money to buy things. But can you imagine using salt to pay for your groceries? Well, in many parts of the ancient world, that is exactly what people did. Salt was so valuable that it became a form of currency. In ancient Rome, soldiers actually received part of their pay in salt. This is where the word salary comes from. It's derived from the Latin word for salt, sal. If a soldier was not performing well, people might say he wasn't worth his salt. In parts of Africa, salt cakes were used as money. These cakes were made from compressed salt and were a standard unit of trade. Across the Sahara Desert, camel caravans carried huge blocks of salt, sometimes even trading them for gold. The use of salt as currency shows just how much people prized this precious mineral. It was not just a seasoning, it was a key to survival, wealth, and power. Salt roads and salty empires, trade and power. Think about the roads and highways we have today. Now imagine roads built specifically for transporting salt. The ancient Roman road of Via Salaria, which translates to Salt Road, is but one example of this. It ran a short length along the Adriatic coast, where salt was produced, before turning inland and towards Rome. That is how important salt was. These salt roads crisscrossed continents, connecting salt sources to places that desperately needed it. The salt trade had a huge impact on empires and civilizations. Control over salt mines or trade routes could make a ruler incredibly powerful. The Egyptian salt trade with the Phoenicians and early Greek states contributed significantly to the wealth and power of the Old and Middle Kingdoms of ancient Egypt. The Venetian Republic in Italy became wealthy through its control of the salt trade in the Mediterranean Sea. Pass the salt, please. Salt taxes and revolts. Imagine being taxed on your salt. It might sound strange, but throughout history, governments quickly realized that salt was a great way to raise money. After all, everyone needs salt, right? This led to salt taxes, which unfortunately did not always go over well with the people. One famous example is the French salt tax called the gabelle. The gabelle was extremely unpopular. People hated being forced to buy salt from royal salt depots at inflated prices. This resentment towards the salt tax actually contributed to the French Revolution. In India, Mahatma Gandhi led the famous Salt March in 1930 to protest the British salt tax, which prohibited Indians from making their own salt. He led a mass pilgrimage of his followers to the seaside to make their own salt. Gandhi's peaceful protest and act of civil disobedience helped spark India's independence movement. These historical events show that salt was not just a kitchen staple, it was a powerful symbol. Control over salt and the taxes levied upon it could lead to revolutions and reshape the political landscape. Salt. Not just for dinner anymore. Sure, we sprinkle salt on our popcorn and use it to season our food, but salt's usefulness goes far beyond the kitchen. For centuries, people have found amazing ways to use salt in everyday life. Remember how salt helped preserve those ancient mummies? Well, that same power of preservation is still used today. Salt is used to cure meats, tan leather, and even preserve wood. It is a natural preservative that is hard to beat. Salt also has incredible cleansing properties. Think about gargling with salt water when you have a sore throat. Salt has been used for centuries to clean wounds, disinfect surfaces, and even de-ice roads in the winter. But wait, there is more. Salt is also used in manufacturing. It is used to make glass, paper, textiles, and even soap. Next time you use a bar of soap, remember the humble salt that helped make it possible. A salty legacy. Salt's enduring impact. From ancient times to the present day, salt has left its mark on human civilization. It is more than just a seasoning. It is a symbol of our ingenuity, resourcefulness, and interconnectedness. The legacy of salt can be seen in the names of places like Salzburg, meaning Salt City, in Austria. It is reflected in our language with phrases like worth his salt and take it with a grain of salt. Salt even pops up in art, literature, and religious texts. Today we might not think much about salt as we sprinkle it on our food, but the next time you do, remember the long and fascinating journey those tiny crystals have taken. From ancient salt roads to modern manufacturing, salt has played a vital role in shaping our world. It is a reminder that even the simplest things can have an extraordinary impact on the course of human history.
Thank you for watching. Hope you found this video informative and entertaining. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment. We do like to know and hear your feedback. And if you have the means, please consider supporting us on Patreon, where you can get early access to our videos and where we post bonus material. Till next time, this is Geeky Tidbits saying cheers and have a good day.